Hi, this is Gina Hardin with Liberty Grows, and welcome to part 2 of the book, The County Sheriff, America's Last Hope. And in part 1 we were talking about that the law enforcement officers, and not just law enforcement, but our military elected officials, even the FBI, many people take an oath to protect and preserve and defend the Constitution of the United States. And that oath is first and foremost to the Constitution. It's not to just obey orders, as many of the defendants at Nuremberg can tell you. To say I was just following orders is not a good defense. An officer's primary duty and responsibility is to the Constitution. It's to protect the people. And even if that means going against legislators. So an officer or a sheriff cannot violate their oath to the Constitution for a judge or the legislature. One of the brilliant things about how America was founded in our form of government is we have this dual form of government between having a state government and a federal government. And they intentionally, our founders, put these checks and balances in place. And so the states aren't just supposed to go along with the feds. There's supposed to be this healthy tension that they check each other from abusing their authority and power. And the sheriff's job is to protect people from abuses and crimes of the federal government, not to do their bidding for them. So the size of government is directly proportional to the amount of liberty we have. As government grows, our liberty shrinks. As government shrinks, our liberty grows. But there's another important thing you have to understand, that self-government is directly proportional to the amount of external and civil government that we have. So when Americans are a moral and virtuous people and are self-governing, then we don't need a heavy-handed federal government to make these regulations, because we're already doing it. There's no need for all these extra laws. But as we begin to lose our self-government and become immoral and unlawful people and abuse the liberty that we've been given, well, then it takes more civil and federal government to keep lawless people in check. So we were talking, last time I said we were going to talk about what the definition of tyranny is. And let's see, I actually made notes. As I was reading this book, I was underlining and even wrote the definition of tyranny in here. And what it is, tyranny is arbitrary or despotic exercise of power. Okay, what is arbitrary? Arbitrary means depending on the will or discretion, not governed by any fixed rules. Arbitrary power is most easily established on the ruins of liberty abused to licentiousness. So why do we have this arbitrary power going on? Because we've abused our liberty to licentiousness. Now, I had to go and look this word up. What is licentiousness exactly? We might have a general idea, but we can learn a lot more about it when we go to the 1828 Webster's Dictionary. Licentiousness is excessive indulgence of liberty. So in other words, it's not responsible liberty. It's not moral liberty. It's not liberty and virtue. It's a lawless kind of liberty. And that's not the kind of people that we want to be. Licentiousness is contempt of the just restraints of law, morality, and decorum. Contempt of the just restraints of law, morality, and decorum. Tyranny, arbitrary or despotic exercise of power over subjects and others with a rigor not authorized by law or justice or not requisite for the purposes of government. Hence, tyranny is often synonymous with cruelty and oppression. Again, cruelty means it's not just to be mean, but it means disposed to give pain to others, destitute of pity. Tyranny is unresisted and cruel power. So again, you can't have tyranny where the people resist. But tyranny comes about because the people do not resist. In fact, the Bible says, resist the devil and he must flee. And so we have a moral duty to resist tyrannical government. You know, the name of this channel is Liberty Grows, and I don't want to just give you the bad news. I want to tell you, how we're making progress. And Sheriff Mack talks about in his book, in 1997, the sheriff of Nye County, Nevada, told the feds that they would be arrested if they tried to confiscate a rancher's cattle. So here we see a constitutional sheriff defending and protecting his people from the abusive power of the federal government. A Wyoming sheriff created a policy that all federal agents had to check with them before they could make arrests, serve papers, or confiscate property, after the INS erroneously raided the home of U.S. citizens. For federal officers to take over a county is the epitome of usurpation, and no constitutional sheriff should tolerate it. Our founders intended for there to be constitutional safeguards at each level of government, at the state level. That's why we have, even the judicial, executive, and legislative. And the sheriffs are part of the executive branch of government. Nothing supersedes the Bill of Rights. Its violation is treason. So again, like I said, let me leave you with this. Thomas Jefferson said, "If a people expect to be ignorant and free, they expect what never was and what will never be." If you like this video, please share it with your friends and subscribe to join me next time, right here where Liberty grows.